Hello and welcome back to Infinitude. This is the Fundamental Series, Part 5. In this video, we are going to discuss about Vue directives. Vue directives are HTML attributes with the prefix v-. Vue.js provides built-in directives and user can even define their custom directives. Now let's dive into the VS Code. At first, let's create a new component. Let's give it a name VueDirectives.vue, and I will use the Vue snippet, that is VBase, and let's give the component a name, that is VueDirectives, and I will at first register this inside the App.vue component. Let's comment out this and import, that is dot slash components, and then copy this and paste over here, comment out this and register this, and then we will use this custom tag inside the HTML. Now let's go back to the Vue directive. Now let's go quickly over to the interpolation or double braces that we have learned in the previous video. For that, let's create first data, and then I will return, and then let's create a message first, message instance, and let's give it a name. Let's give it a dummy message, hello from Infinitude. And now I will use the h1 tag and then double curly braces to inject our Vue instance. Now let's run the server. For that, I have opened the terminal inside our VS Code by Ctrl and Tilde. If you are using npm, then type npm run serve, or if you are using the yarn, then yarn serve. Let's go to the browser and I will refresh this. Here we can see the message hello from Infinitude that we have just created inside the Vue directive. Now let's dive into the Vue directive. At first, vtext. First, I will create a instance, that is text message, and then let's give a dummy message, that is Infinitude. I have to put comma over here, and let's use this. For this, I will create a div tag, and then vtext, I will just copy and paste. vtext works just like the interpolation or double curly braces. Let's inspect this. And here we can see the Infinitude inside a div tag. Now I will use the interpolation just for an example. For this, I will just delete this and let's put the double curly braces inside the div, and let's go to the browser. I'll refresh this, and let's just inspect. Here we can see the vtext works just like an interpolation or the double curly braces. Now let's go to another directive, that is vue.html. Let's create a instance that is content, and in this we will use a h1 tag, and inside h1 tag we will put vuejs fundamental series. Now let's go to the template, and I will create a new div tag, and inside view tag I will create a vue.html directive similar as vtext, and let's put the content. Let's go to the browser. Here we can see the Vue.js fundamental series. vue.html will render the content, that is Vue instance, just as a plain HTML rather than encoding them. What is the difference between vtext and vue.html? Let's copy this. I will use the Control and Shift and then down arrow, and I will put this content inside here. Let's go to the browser. Here we can see that the vtext does not render the h1 tag, whereas vue.html directive renders the tag. Now we will dive into the conditional directives with Vue.js. At first, let's create a instance is logged in, and let's give it a boolean. Let's give it a boolean value, and let's go to the template, and this time I will create a button, and inside button I will use if, and then is logged in, and let's give the name log out. Let's go to browser. Here we can see the logout. Now go to the Vue Developers tool, and then VueDirectives. Now I will change the value of the is logged in. If directive add or remove DOM element based on the given expression. Now let's go to another directive, that is vf. For that I will create another button, and in this I will give just else, and let's give the name logged in. Let's go to the browser. Here we can see logout. Let's go to the component. I will change it to false. Here we can see the logged in. VS directive is used to display content only when the expression VF resolves to false. Now let's go to another conditional directive, that is vshow. For this I will just duplicate the VF button, and then I will change it to show. Let's just move down here, and let's go to the browser. Here we can see the both logged out and logged out show. Now let's change the logged in to false. It seems like v dash, now just change to true. The vshow and vif acts like the same. Vshow also show or hides the element based on the expression, but vshow does not support velse or velse if. Now let's create an array, that is item list, and view Illustrator, JavaScript, Photoshop, XD. Now let's map this in the template. Let's start with the div tag and v4. v4 directive allows us to loop through items in an array. Now let's give it a key with a v bind key, that is item index, and then I will print this, that is item. Now let's go to the browser. Here we can see the Vue, Illustrator, JavaScript, Photoshop, and XD that we have defined as an array. We use the double curly braces as placeholder for data. We have previously used the vbind. Now let's go to another example of vbind. For that, I will create another Vue instance, that is href, and another is image source. Let's go to the browser, and I will go to the vue.org, and then I will copy the URL, go to the VS Code and paste in the href. Let's go to the VueJS, and I will just copy the image address, and then I will paste that inside the image source. Now let's go to the template. Here I will create a anchor tag and then use the href. Let's use the vbind, and then I will create a image tag. Inside the image tag, I will use the image src, and let's give the vbind to source. Let's go to the browser. Here we can see the Vue.js logo. Let's click this whether if it will redirect to vuejs.org or not. It has redirected us to the vuejs.org page. Now let's go back to the VS Code. VS Code has convenient shorthand for vbind. That is, we can use just the colon. Let's save that and go to browser. Let's go back. And refresh. Here we can see it is working as it was working in the previous. Here we can see it is working perfectly. Let's go back, refresh. VueBind is one-way data binding. Now let's dive into the two-way data binding, that is vModel. vModel directives binds the values HTML elements of application data. Let's create a instance that is view message, and then at first I will give it a message that is hello from Vue.js. Now let's go to the template, and then I will create a p tag, and inside p tag I will use the input tag, and inside p tag I will use the input tag. Let's use the vModel and view message. Let's create another p tag and show this message. I'll just copy and paste. Let's go to the browser. Here we can see hello from Vue.js. Since it is two-way binding, since the vModel directive is two-way binding, let's change the data here. Hello from Infinitude. Here we can see that while we are typing the message, it has instantly reflected the message that we have typed. Now we are at the end of this tutorial. If you like this video, then don't forget to like, comment and subscribe this channel. In next video, we will discuss about event handling.